My name is Ammar Lokhandwala. I belong to the realty sector and I completed my MBA Entrepreneurship and Family Management. It was a great experience overall. I was able to get a lot of experiential learning. In NMIMS specifically, you got a lot of international exposure. So, as an individual, it was developing a personality of your own over the years. When I started off, the analytical skills that were required to run business were few. But over the 2 years, with every little subject, with the type of global exposure that was provided, it made a complete difference. Earlier, our visions were very limited. We did not see any exponential growth in business. We did not talk about touching heights which and boundaries beyond certain levels. But currently, that has changed over 2 years. You interacted with individuals from across the country. The type of exposure that you got from those various cultures and understanding what they have already achieved as compared to us, that was the major difference. That's when you started thinking, oh, I don't just want to be a builder. I just don't want to do a project one by one. I want to make a complete difference. I want to look at doing townships that make a difference completely on a national level as well as be like a sample project which can be showcased internationally. Learning was not only through subjects that provided practical understandings. For example, we talk about the organizational culture subject that I had in my course. The subject provided a lot of theoretical data on how to analyze people, but also at the same time provided practical analysis in the form of how one thing would multiply into another, how the effect of an individual worked on another personality. So that was where I started off analyzing and understanding various personalities in my organization, how they function and how they needed to be mismatched and their portfolios needed to be changed. Well, it's working out to be better for me now, which as compared to earlier it wasn't, because there was always a strike. There was a form of barrier for communication between two individuals who were running two departments that needed coordination between each other. One simple subject making a difference. How does that multiply? It makes a complete difference in terms of a list of number of subjects that we did, almost 48 subjects across the 2 years. So the difference was, we normally put money in fixed deposits, earning interest which are very low, or we may put it in the cash market where we earn 2% month on month. Risky, whereas something which is really safe. Where do you get in between? You start investing in stocks. That was something I was newly exposed to through the process of NMIMS. A professor who taught us corporate finance gave me an intricate understanding of the stock market and knowing what are the parameters of understanding in terms of ratios and other things which need to be recorded to understand exactly where to invest and how to invest. There was one specific subject which helped me build my vision, that was managing practices for entrepreneurs. Here I had understanding that I would only want to be in the realty sector, but with this particular subject and understanding various portfolios across the business, various functions also of management as well as various corporate levels of understanding, I started summing up where the realty sector comes into play. It comes into play in terms of agriculture, it comes into play in terms of education, it comes into play in healthcare, it comes into play for warehousing and logistics. So that's where you understand that this is where you want to expand into as a portfolio. At the end of the day, this will all sum up to and to integrate into a much better, more value-added realty. When I speak about one of my experiences, it was, we are normal home entrepreneurs. We go out and we are not able to meet the highest level of individuals in an organization. We already are doing businesses with, an elevator company provided us vertical and horizontal transportation, that's Schindler. So Schindler was already working with us, but I was not able to coordinate or I was not able to interact with individuals from high levels in their organization. I was working with lower levels of individuals in their organization who I was negotiating with. I was not building a relationship, I was building something which would just functionally solve my problem in business. But when I went to Germany and I got the exposure through our international visit in the international industrial visit, that was a complete change. I had the privilege, along with these 130 entrepreneurs who had joined me during my trip from my own coast, to interact with Mr. Swen Rao, who is the Asia Pacific head of Schindler. We took our further talks further, and this as a relation, it evolved, and it's eventually about the individual actually utilizing the relation that he makes at that particular trip. When we talk about risks, well, your father is always hesitant to take a particular risk. As an individual, now you're the new entrepreneur, you are young blood, you are dynamic. Why are you dynamic? Because this course always hammered it into your head that you need change. Change is supposed to be implemented. That is something that's going to eventually make a difference. This change, this need for change, because you didn't want to stay in stagnant waters, is where now we start taking new risks. It's about me already making a point of utilizing assets which I already have. For example, I own a barren land which I would construct at a later date. It would take 7 years from now when I would get my real appreciation on that land. Now I've already thought about utilizing it as a warehouse. That's not my core business, but I'm trying to get into that. I've talked like in form of my other assets, which also has material in terms of which can be used for mining. That's also what we're talking about utilizing. So it is a difference from the stagnant position that we had early on. It's the need to achieve, and the need to achieve has come at NMIMS from the MBA and Entrepreneurship and Family Business. It is from the students who were there from across the country, different cultures, they had different visions. They had a different line of path. Each of them wanted to achieve something. That's what helped me individually to create a strive to achieve something. Beyond that, it was our teachers who helped us formally create projects which we took to our parents. The parents would actually understand these projects and formally give us an understanding of our business, which we did not have the courage to first ask them, Dad, why is this change happening? Why is this step being taken specifically? Your father would not answer. Or what is the actual turnover in your business? You would never have the courage to actually ask your father early on. But now, since it was these projects that came across, and they were practically applied. Some of them which are not going to help you today, they may help you in the near future for sure. This is the overall understanding that you get. The global exposure, you are going to go global. It's the connectivity age. You are going to interact with others. All this is going to sum up and help you. But the real derivation came from these 2 years, because it changed the personality in me individually completely, and that's what caused me to do what I am doing today, and hopefully make me an entrepreneur which will make the nation's head high tomorrow as well as NMIMS.